Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am really happy to see you guys again and to share some more insights about the progress of my novel, about this learning path creation, so that there is some sort of evolution towards the different plans and big statements that I've made before. In terms of the feedback I've gotten from the different professors, of course, it's only been a week, so the expectations were not, I hope to have all the material now. But in fact, I've started looking into the material that a lot of these professors are suggesting, and it's so interesting how they delve into, for instance, one of them was specializing into the human expression, but physically and biologically, how our faces connect to our biochemical changes when we're feeling a certain emotion. I was like, wow, that is so cool. And I don't think you would usually dive into this knowledge tangents if you were to study, I don't know, this specific field of study, because it's really niche. But I find it so interesting, really challenging the way that education is formatted for everyone. Maybe it's something that won't fit you that way, but it doesn't mean that you don't want to know. Humans are naturally curious beings, and if it's not in a certain structure that is working for you, maybe challenging that and finding your own way in order to actively pursue the acquisition of knowledge that will maybe practically serve you in your life would be a good way to go. But hey, that's just my thoughts on it. So today I had a really nice talk with an old professor I had back in high school in Spanish literature. And we had the best time sharing this whole background story with her, catching up. She knew me and knew my plans, I don't know, 2 years ago. And every year, as I've told you, it changes. I go from biochem to data science to now I work in the corporate world. Now let's go back to music. And yeah, I am really trying it all. And I don't regret it. A lot of people tell me, oh, you could have spent all that time in finally specializing in one thing and then you'll be great at that one thing. Sure, but I would have not known how trying that would have been if I didn't try it myself. I don't want to have regrets in life where, oh, what if? What if I had done music? I really went there and I was like, nope, not the environment, not the feeling. What if I had gone into business school, for example? Well, not my thing, really. Tried, couldn't do it. So I would rather say that I really not try at all, because I think that would take quite a bit of time. Try the different things and take the different opportunities that are popping up there. Then you slowly find that path, and honoring your passions is also a form of self-love. Lately, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts about self-improvement, and it's something that's really bringing me into getting to know myself and putting into action all of the different things that are about self-improvement is something challenging because it's easier said than done, as everything in the world. But when it comes to you, it's so unique, and the implementations are so tailored into your own life and into your own schedule and thoughts, everything. But try not to go off the tangent. Having this conversation with this professor led me to realize that different generations have similar thoughts also on the educational system, for example. Thinking the fact that we no longer have this creation in place, there is less and less space where you can exercise creativity within the fields of art, for example, creative writing, and visual arts creation, and in music, I believe it's something more flexible. But having it reduced and really structured in a way in which you're just stuck analyzing forever. And as I mentioned in the previous videos, it's important for us to learn how to digest properly the information, to absorb the knowledge that it's crucial for us to know, and to be critical towards what we are learning. But it doesn't mean that we should stop creating. I was telling her about this process that I believe is you are presented with a piece of information, you are ingesting it, then you digest it, analyze it, criticize it. You have the certain criteria of what you will take in, what you won't, and then you have an opinion towards it. But what is the part where we give back to the world that piece of information, in which we take that analysis or we take those opinions towards it and create something about it? That is the really challenging part. And this is not exercised enough. And that is something that I would like, for instance, to specialize in, to have a big opinionated brain towards everything that I'm consuming and share my own thoughts on it. Create a bunch of arts, of works in which they reflect the different knowledge that I've collected within different fields and throughout different years, throughout different experiences. That's what the world is really made of experiences, of people, not just the same knowledge being recited and repeated, because then it really feels pointless. Okay, so that was one of the first thoughts that we shared, and it was really nice to see that across different generations, across different cultures, this is something that is felt in different educational systems. Moving on, we also spoke about neurodiversity. And this is a topic I am really passionate about because this is the main topic of my books, of my singing, of my composing, of my artwork creation. And it is part of the reason of why I am sharing my story and why I decided to write a novel in the first place. Because from a personal experience, dealing with topics about feeling that society is not built for me to live in and to be able to express myself or to fit into the daily schedules, the world rushes and so on, and feeling so pressured that I can't even with myself. And then thinking, oh, life is just not built for me. How am I helping myself? And yeah, I'm aware that usually in these states, it's really hard to help yourself, or that you will usually avoid to do the things that you know will actually help you. But having the thought of sharing those struggles, both for empathy with someone else, although it's the challenge of being vulnerable in the public eye, but finding somehow resonance in experiences, a resonance in thoughts, and then instructing society about this. Because how would they know about our challenges and about our struggles if we never talk about them, but instead we disappear? Of course it's challenging, but it could also be a midway ground where we slowly start teaching society about how this feels like. And that's another challenge itself, because it's so complex. That's why I was looking into the science behind it, because it's not even something that I can explain to myself. That doesn't make sense. It just goes from black to white, for example. And in your brain, it actually makes sense because chemicals just completely change. And for me, it's really interesting to be able to put it into art, because it's an international language, like music. It's something that incites a certain feeling. So I believe that using art in order to express this more complex emotions, situations, and moments in our lives can support us in sharing the complexity of neurodiversity. We even started mentioning how this is a topic that's not exercised within different spheres in life. For example, at work, there's not many policies about neurodiversity. Of course, yes, of gender equality, of different ethnicities, different religions. And then I think to myself, wait, I have not come across too many policies about neurodiversity. And what about in education? Yes, there are a lot more things that are related to neurodiversity for children. Nevertheless, it's not in all educational institutions that we can see for the different types of neurodiversity that there is something for them, that there is a support, that there is an understanding. I think for children it's such a worrying topic because they cannot express it so easily as an adult. It's easier for you to try to put into words or to try to communicate your challenge. But for a child struggling with their own emotions and with their own journey and then having to voice for themselves that they cannot do this or they see things differently, I cannot imagine not having a system or a support in society that will not guard them against everything. That's not what I want for the kids, but for them to feel supported, the same support as the other students, because it's building that society around them that they can also feel that they're compatible with. So this is all of the ideas around my book and around this personal experiences and meeting people that you can talk freely and also enrich all of this internal discussion and make it external this time. It's wonderful. I am so happy that I get to talk with this type of people in my life that provide so much value into who I am and what I'm learning. That's why I also wanted to share that I asked her to support me with my novel in terms of bouncing back ideas, since she has a background in literature. And we've also had the chance to exchange pieces that I've written, specifically analytical ones, because they were part of my curriculum back in high school. And she would be such a committed teacher into all the details I've written, into discussing building and the structure of the essays themselves, and then coming up with such detailed feedback in order for me to improve and really be the best writer I could, be the most critical and analytical person, and then create upon it. I felt that with her, I told her today that I created something, that I created a piece of knowledge that I could actually share. And that's what I want to do with this novel. So for me, it was a no-brainer thinking of whom I would ask for support and also for kind of mentoring when writing this novel, because I really want to do it in my own terms. But I really want the guidance and the criticism of, first of all, the writing itself, that it is proper, that it is clear, that I don't get too lost in my train of thought. And second of all, that it's something that embodies the fact that literature is also a way to convey the complexity of emotions and the complexity of the human mind in a way that it's more digestible. That is something that was pivotal for me, to find a medium in order to express this more complex and sometimes vague and yet too specific topics about the human mind and about my own experiences at the end of the day. So this part has been filled with so much research, and that's why my first approach was to the professors, to get to digest a bit more the topic about neurodiversity, about neurology itself, neuroscience, psychology, psychiatry. And of course, this would be years and years of just learning about them. And this is just the start of the journey. This is something that I really want to do, to be able to have that bridge in between inner fights on dealing with a mental illness, and later on seeing the beauty in each of them, seeing the uniqueness that they have and that they bring to an individual, and how challenging but at the same time inspiring that can be. Then bringing it to the public, making it something that's a way of sharing those experiences, sharing how it feels, quite literally, to feel and see the world in a certain way. Then the actionable steps later on after the sharing would hopefully be to able to make a change. Informing people, it's the first thing. Knowledge is power, so if people could actually know how you feel, life would be very different, right? If we could empathize with each other at a deeper level, then we would be way more empathetic and compassionate towards a lot of people. Everyone is living their own fight. Everyone has their own war, sometimes with themselves, on so many different topics that you don't know, that I don't know, that maybe they will keep to themselves forever and ever. But there are bases and certain feelings that are a bit more general that we could get to share, and we could make a difference in educational systems, in companies, in workers' policies, even in legislations. Because knowledge is power, and sharing feelings and vulnerabilities, it's not something that will or should be used against you. but instead it should enlighten others with how you live your life, how you live some struggles. This is a message also to empower a lot of individuals that feel that society is not built for them. Maybe it could be good for you to communicate the struggles. Anyhow, I plan to do so. And I'm really inspired and excited to be able to connect with others, even channel their voices through mine. Because not everyone will want to expose themselves in this way. I've noticed that it's not that I get anxious of getting any comments, but there is this inner thought of what if someone starts writing hate towards this, or someone is really against the topics that I'm sharing and so on. And then I think, well, that's the point. No one will have the same thought. That's also a part of our diversity. So it's also building that confidence. And I think that's also a great part of the journey that I would like to have you guys on, of building the confidence of being able to share and be vulnerable. Embracing that vulnerability, that it's a strength that we have to be able to show those darker moments and use them as catharsis, for instance, for our most draining days and our most draining problems, and then using those happiest moments to inspire and to be a shining light for other people. To be both and to share everything. There's ups and downs for everyone. This book, it's not just for neurodivergent people and not just for instructing others about their lives and about their minds, but it's for everyone. I think a lot of people will relate to these different feelings. They're universal feelings. At the end of the day, we all feel. We're all human. So I hope that you stay tuned about this progress. Next video, I will actually be sharing how I've built this learning path using AI and already with the materials that the professors have sent me. Since this is something that I already want to get working on, I've already set some deadlines with my professor. The whole point is that we really get started and not only sharing in this format, not only sharing the process itself and the progress, but it could be interesting also publishing what I'm learning from and what books and articles I'm reading, and maybe some of you will read them. Maybe some of you will also like to post a response about them. So I am so interested about this, and I'm so happy that I get the opportunity to do so, that I get to explore with such great people what I really want to do and actually create a path that is for me. So see you guys in the next video, and I hope you stay tuned with my journey.